Hey Authortube! My name is the Book Mage and I figured it was time for a post-NaNoWriMo writing update. So it's been just over a week, I think, since I last checked up for NaNoWriMo. Essentially, I know that a lot of you guys followed me because of Authortube and because of my NaNoWriMo vlogs, and I've been doing a lot for BookTube over Christmas, so I figured it was maybe time to sort of give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be writing and what I'm going to be working on in the near future now that I'm no longer working on my NaNoWriMo project. Because yes, spoilers, my NaNoWriMo project is pretty much just, I only ever touch it during NaNoWriMo. It's a fan fiction, it's a nice writing exercise, but other than that, I don't tend to stick to the whole writing every day or keeping to a certain word count sort of thing that I do within NaNoWriMo. That's just like its own self-contained fun little thing. So yeah, while I probably will revisit at some point the story that I was working on for NaNoWriMo, it's not going to be anytime soon. I want to focus on things that are completely my thing, my idea that I might actually one day publish, rather than a fun fanfiction. Essentially, I'm kind of setting some goals as to where I would like to be, I guess, by this point next year, or so far into the future. And the main reason I kind of want to put this out there is because obviously a lot of you guys have followed me for things like my writing vlogs and my writing sprints, and because obviously you're going to, hopefully, continue to follow me for the Authortube stuff, I kind of want to make it really clear as to what that's going to be for me, at least for the foreseeable future. Because you know, I'd like to be clear about it so that you're not here hoping for a certain kind of video that at this point for me in the writing process just isn't doable. And I think that of course putting your intentions out there creates this kind of accountability for me. So if at this point next December I'm still sat on no updates on this novel, I'm gonna look real bad. So I'm giving myself that motivation now. So I guess the easiest way to start this is to say that the main thing that I tend to be working on at any given time, my main ongoing manuscript, and it is obviously an adult high fantasy. And without saying too much about the plot because I'm a secretive hoe, it's mainly about magic and dragons and stuff. So magic and dragons, yes. It's in my head, I've planned it to be a trilogy, and I have been writing it for a very long time. It's pretty much my oldest manuscript that is still a work in progress. Anything else I wrote before that I've scrapped and decided that it was shit. But this one has a special place in my heart, and so I'm still writing it and updating it even today. I won't tell you how long I've been working on it because it's very shocking. So I have written so many drafts of this novel over the years. The first one, I think I actually still have the very first draft of it, and it was bad. But it's one of those where every couple of years I tend to revisit it if I haven't been working on it, and I'll get obsessed with it all over again and I'll just start rewriting the whole thing. I've rewritten the intros so many times. So instead of doing that, I've been working on it in a different way since about 2015. I think it was November 5th, 2015, I kind of started my entire overhaul of this project. So I have a list of things that I want/need for this manuscript, for this project. Before I actually work on any of the next draft, I want to get all these things done and out of the way. And I want to preface this by saying I know so many people give the advice of stop focusing on these things and just write the damn story, and I get that. But also, I really enjoy this process. And I love writing, and I like the other parts of writing that aren't the actual writing of the story, and I'm not really in any rush to publish. I don't care if it takes me a whole boatload more years to get to the point where I'm ready to send it off for publication and start querying. But right now, the things that I think that I need to do, or that I want to do for this book, include number one, I need to finish my goddamn map. This is number one on my list because I feel like I need a solid map to base basically the whole story around, because I don't want to come to look at my sequence of events further down the line and realise the distance between places just doesn't make sense, or things are weird, or that I've created a weird geographical mess that is completely impossible even within the realms of my own magical fantasy. So it's really important for me, for the first thing that I'm going to do is to do a map. Once my map is done, or potentially something I'll do at the same time, is the other big thing I want to get done before I move forward at all with any of the rest of the manuscript, is my conlang. I know, people are probably groaning because a constructed language takes a long time, and I know some people, Tolkien, sink years into making up their own constructed languages, but I studied languages. The English language is my passion. I love etymology, I love words, and I'm not just a writer for the stories. I love language as a whole. I've studied a lot of language, I'm really interested in it, and foreign languages as well. So I would really like to make my own conlang. I need to make my own conlang. And I say need to because I know people are like, oh well, you don't need it, but for what I envision for my story, I do need it. So yeah, I have tried my hand at conlangs before. The first conlang I ever wrote when I was very young was very bad, and we shall not talk about it. I've had several since then, and so what I'm going to do is I have 2 very good books on conlangs and how to make a conlang, and I'm going to read those, I'm going to study those, and then I'm going to restart my conlang all over again. I will probably make entire videos just about my conlang, but there are a lot of reasons, world building related reasons, why I think it's very, very important for me to start out with a conlang before I go any further in the story. So that is why conlang is like the next big thing on the list. So you're probably going to see a lot of, I guess, world building stuff from me, so maps, constructed languages, that sort of thing. And other than that, I think I have a lot of other world building stuff to do. I have a lot of it down. I have a lot of the culture of my like fantasy realm down, and most of that includes things like, I guess, like everyday cultural stuff and beliefs and theology and that sort of thing. And I have a lot of the history down, but again, there's a lot more that I want to sort of like pepper in there just to make it feel more real and believable, and just like it's like a living, breathing place. I don't want it to feel flat or mundane or like it's something that you've read like a million times before. I'd like to make it my own, and honestly coming up with things like just like little cultural weirdness and stuff like that is like one of my favourite things to do. Yeah, world building is like a really big, broad sort of thing, but that is the main thing that I'm working on at the moment. It's just sort of like world building in the background, and then in the forefront it's my map and my conlang. I don't see those being finished in the like near future because conlang especially is such a big undertaking, but once those things are done, I'm then going to be moving on to doing the whole sequence of events things, and then when I'm done with all that I can finally then move on back to the actual manuscript. And I kind of know it like the back of my hand. There's a few like big sections in there that I need to like fill out and I guess elaborate on, elucidate a little bit better. However, for the most part, I know how my story begins, I know most of the middle, and I know how it ends. I know like all the major plot points and everything, and I feel like once I've got down like my complete sequence of events as I need it, then I can come back with something like, maybe like a beat sheet or something. I don't necessarily want to write exactly to something like that, but just I guess to check that I've hit all the major beats that I need to, and that my pacing's okay and things like that, and that it actually like makes sense. And you know, I kind of feel like I'm almost running down the basics of how to write a novel, but I kind of just want to make it clear that I'm not going to be here doing like writing sprints and write-ins and all these sort of things, because I'm not at that point in the novel writing process. So this is going to be like the main project that I'm working on, and those are going to be the major aspects of that project that I am going to be working on across like, I guess, the winter. And we'll see come spring how I'm feeling. So yeah, I feel like I could talk about my books forever, and this isn't supposed to be me like telling you all about the story or what the manuscript is or anything like that. It's just kind of me letting you guys know like, I guess, what my plans are for the new year and for this like next step in my writing. So hopefully by the end of 2020 I will have finished my map. Like, for goodness sakes, I better have finished that map. Like, it does not, I could do it in a few hours. Like, I just need to not be lazy. And hopefully I will have, I think, maybe not my entire conlang I'm just swearing at you now, maybe not my entire conlang finished, because a conlang is going to be an ever-evolving thing. It's going to always get new stuff added into it as I guess go through the manuscript and see what sort of words and dialogue I might need for certain things in certain situations. But I definitely think I really would like to have at least like the base of my conlang done by this time next year, and I think that is very doable. So it's basically going to be all of the grammar stuff and then I guess like a big word bank of common words or like root words and things that I'm then going to decide upon, I guess, and populate my language with. And I think if I get to that point where I can start to string together sentences and I have like a big, you know, grammar table or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think once I've got to that point I will be happy with it enough to proceed like with it at that point in time. Obviously I don't need to create an entire language with like words and phrases for all occasions. I just need enough for my manuscript. Anything else I'll just add going on. But I would really like that to be finished and polished by the end of this year. So, and by this year I mean 2020. I know we're not in 2020 yet, but like this next coming year. And then who knows, if that's done, then by this time next December I could already be working on the next like edition of my manuscript, I guess. I suppose it depends how much world building and information and lore and stuff I think is necessary for me, not for the reader but for me. So I know this was kind of a weird video because it's not really, I mean it's all about writing, but it's not really very specifically about anything. But obviously if you guys are wanting to follow me and keep up with my journey, then I feel like this is probably something necessary to put out there. So if you did watch this, which I imagine is not many people, but if you did, then hopefully this clears a lot of things up and hopefully you found it enlightening or entertaining or something of that nature. So I think that's going to be it from me. I don't really want to waste anyone else's time. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully this wasn't like a complete failure of a video. Hopefully like it was appreciated by like at least one person. And if this didn't completely put you off my Authortube content, then hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!